Good morning and welcome home. I am your treasurer, Carissa Mohr, and here are this week's announcements. There's an RE Council meeting today after service. Tracy, our bookkeeper, is on vacation until June 14th, so if you have any financial questions, you'll need to wait until then to get an answer. Every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, from 7 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. Let's see, worship committee meeting on the 7th at 7 p.m., if anybody's interested. Next weekend is the Camp de Benneville retreat with Pacific Unitarian Church. And then upcoming events, we have Maddie Scully's memorial service on Saturday, June 17th at 2 p.m. The young adult group is supposed to meet on June 25th after service in room 8. Let's see. If you are willing and able to volunteer on Sunday mornings to help as a hospitality host, please contact Terry McGuire or Shirley Ussery, or did I Usery or Ussery? Ussery, okay. Want to make sure I get that right. And if you're interested in volunteering, because they can use some help. And then there is supposed to be a Balikbayan bag packing party before they leave. Did we get a confirmation on which dates? Okay. 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 So the packing party is supposed to be on Sunday, July 9th after service. So y'all have a month to get any gently used clothing, shoes, day packs, umbrellas, ponchos, jackets, school supplies, art supplies, canned protein, any sort of first aid supplies. Get all that together and bring that in for June 9th, or July 9th, because they're leaving on Sunday, July 16th. And I believe that, yes. I believe that is it for me. And now I am going to call up Debbie Skirto to talk about something new.
Good morning, everybody. I am here on behalf of the membership team, and we have created a form to voluntarily, if you'd like, to fill out that gives us information for a contact person or persons. And we would just like to initiate this so that there's a little more comfort, safety, in case anybody needed assistance while here at church. We would like to know who you would want us to call. And so it's just a simple form. Jerry's is going to show you a slide. I think it's up there already. They'll be on the back table. They're yellow. And if you could fill that out for us, we'll put it somewhere that's accessible to leadership so we can get to it and get you help if you need it in any way. And we just want to make sure everybody's safe and protected and feels comfortable, and because we love you guys. So please take a look at that today, and any Sundays it'll be out here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Catherine Rowlee, I think a lot of you know. And me and Dawn, members of the worship committee, along with Jeannie, but she doesn't get to do this one. We are your lay leaders today for this special day. So it is an intergenerational service, but I'm not seeing the other generations. But we'll see what happens. So, but that does mean that when we have intergenerational services, we don't voice the stories of our joys and sorrows. So we just hold them all together. And so if you have something, I'm not going to be saying it. So afterwards, I just wanted to let you know ahead of time. So I know a lot of us have a lot going on that we want to share. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's like an either this way or that. So that must be the teacher in me or something. But that's just what we've done traditionally, and I know a lot of us have a lot of joys right now, which is awesome. So, but we'll see. Maybe we'll change that up if there's no kids. Right? We're flexible. Would you like that, Dawn? I know you have something you want to share. We'll see. Anyway, let us enter into our time of worship, and we do that with the sounding of our bowl. Okay? We sound the bowl 3 times. We sound it once for those who came before, the Tongva people, who are the original stewards of this land, and we also ring it for all the native people of this land who called it home long ago. We honor our ancestors and the founding members of this, our beloved congregation, who formed it, boy, over 75 years ago now. We sound it for those of us here and now, for our members, our friends, our visitors, our staff, and our extended UU family who we hold and care as we grow this beloved community. And we ring it once for the future and for those who will come to call MVUUC their home. So, our opening words are, I'm hoping that I don't slaughter this name, by Reverend Dr. Peter Samojski, who is the minister at the Unitarian Church in Prague right now. And if you go online, you will see a lot of interviews that Reverend Erica Hewitt did with him about the history of Unitarianism and Reverend Chopek. So I recommend going there, but this is some opening words that were provided by him. In the name of what is holy, in the name of what is good, in the name of that which gives life, we have gathered here in this place today. We have been given life to live under the aspect of eternity, for that is the source of happiness, to work on ourselves and bring happiness into our lives, to be as valid as possible to others with whom we are connected by invisible relationships. And you, the flowers in our service today, remind us of the wonderful simplicity of the natural order and that we too are a part of it. You remind us of the beauty and the harmony of diversity. You remind us that one can feel and perceive and live in unity in diversity, and diversity in unity. Let the spirit of creative life unite us as it reigns among us. And our opening song, if you would like to stand or stand in spirit, is number 389, Gathered Here. And at this time, we have a youth, a young, and it is time for you to get to do something. We're going to bring the flowers forward. That is usually charged in the service with, I think Robert will help you. So you get to bring them, roll them up in the cart. If Donovan was in, he would do that too, but he's out and about. I don't see him. That is truly a lovely vase of flowers. So now Donald Mohr is going to say our chalice lighting words.
We light this chalice today, the symbol of our sacred faith as Unitarian Universalists, and as a symbol of the flame that burns individually in the depths of each of our hearts. Also, we light in gratitude for Norbert Fabian Chapek, thank you, and in celebration of his legacies, which continue to enrich and deepen our faith.
And now our covenant of faith, our affirmation. It's up here. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. The search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in times of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as a beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. And now we sing Spirit of Life, first in English and then in Spanish. And if you would like to rise, I'm encouraging the breath that you get when you stand. You so would like. We have Robert, our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, has a lovely story for us today. And here it is.
Good morning, everybody. The story today is A Poppy for Aunt Vera by Noreen Kimball. Mom, why won't Aunt Vera come to church with us? I think she'd like it. Tasha looked up at her mother from her stool in the kitchen. I'm not sure, honey. I guess she just misses her old church and doesn't feel like starting out at a new one. Is she a Unitarian Universalist? And Mom, is that Aunt Vera's stew you're making? Yes, and yes. Well, actually, in the Czech Republic, there are Unitarians, not Unitarian Universalists. So Aunt Vera is a Unitarian. You know, there were Unitarians in that part of the world long before there were any in the United States. Do you want to help me make the dumplings that go in the stew? Tasha slid off her stool and headed for the kitchen door to the backyard. Well, actually, Mom, I'm going to pick some flowers for the flower ceremony at church tomorrow, Tasha said. But I'll definitely help eat the dumplings at supper time. And she slipped out the door. Tasha had a hard time deciding which flowers to pick. She needed one for her mom, one for her dad, one for herself, and she wanted them all to be different. Finally, she chose one pink peony, one purple iris, and one blue columbine. While she was picking her flowers, Tasha was thinking, I wish Aunt Vera would come with us to church. She seems sad lots of the time, and she doesn't know anyone her own age here. There are lots of older people at church, and she might make friends. I'm going to ask her one more time at supper. Tasha headed for the back hall to find a vase to hold flowers until the morning. Tasha, her mom and dad, and her great Aunt Vera sat around the dining room table. Tasha's dad said, Aunt Vera, this is my favorite supper now. Is all the food in Olomensky Kraj this good? Aunt Vera said, well, I think so. Tourists go there from all over the world because of the mineral springs, so there are lots of hotels and restaurants and famous chefs. But you can find this stew, and especially the dumplings, all over the Czech Republic. Aunt Vera, said Tasha, I wish you would come to church with us tomorrow. It's the last service before the summer, and there will be lots of people, and the music will be great. It's very kind of you to ask me, Tasha, Aunt Vera said, but I would feel a little awkward. I think I'll just stay home and sit in your lovely garden. Okay, Aunt Vera, Tasha said. I understand. I just thought you'd like the flower ceremony, that's all. Aunt Vera raised her head. What did you say? Say that again? What, about the flower ceremony? I just thought you'd like it. It's really cool. Tasha looked at her Aunt Vera with surprise to see tears in her eyes. Oh, Aunt Vera, what's wrong? Tasha's mom asked. You have a flower ceremony in this country? Does everyone bring flowers to the church and then take a different flower when they leave to go home? Aunt Vera asked. That's exactly the way we do it, Tasha said. How did you know? Have you been to one? Yes, many times, in my own Unitarian church at home. And my mother and father, they were at the very first flower ceremony in Prague back in 1923. They were always so proud to have been there. Yes, Tasha, I will go to church tomorrow. Everyone at the table looked at each other and everyone was smiling. After supper, Tasha ran out to the backyard and picked an orange poppy for Aunt Vera. The next morning, as they walked to church, each member of the family, including great Aunt Vera, held a flower. Tasha held Aunt Vera's hand and thought to herself, wow, our family is connected to people who were at the very first flower ceremony. Wait till I get to Sunday school. This is so awesome. The whole family, Tasha, her mom and dad, and her great Aunt Vera Betova from Olomensky Kraj in the Czech Republic, walked into the church together. There, on a table just inside the main door, stood an enormous vase almost filled with gorgeous flowers. And just a minute later, it also had the peony, iris, poppy, and columbine from Tasha's garden. Thank you.
That story was, we were clued into it by Laura Mulroy, who remembered it from UU World magazine when they had a section for kids years and years ago, right? It was a long time ago. It's such a sweet story. So now it's time for our Sunday offering. You can bring forward any gifts you may have for the Beta Center or for this church. We sustain this beloved community with our offerings, and we work to help sustain our local food pantry also. So as Lily plays, let us come forward. So, like I said about the joys and sorrows, but I do want us to take a time of personal reflection and meditation. So let us just take a few minutes to just connect inside with our deepest self. So you could close your eyes and take in a slow, deep breath and hold it for a few seconds, then release it out, breathing slowly. Breathe in again and out. And feel your body relax. Feel your heart beating. Feel stillness and peace come into your body. feel yourself sitting among friends in a safe place. Let our hearts go out today to those that we hold in concern, to those we know and to those we don't know, who may be afraid and suffering and sick, to those who are sad, and to those who feel hopeless around the world and in our own communities. Let us send out our loving thoughts. Let our hearts fill with gratitude and appreciation for all that we have in our own lives. Our homes, the food we eat, the people and the animals and the places we love, our friends, for the beauty of nature, for flowers, for the opportunity to be together today to celebrate Norbert Chopek, who is a Unitarian Universalist and Unitarian hero around the world. Let us feel gratitude that we are able to participate in the ceremony he created and first held in his church 100 years ago. Yikes. So blessed be. Choir.
Walking in the moonlight, dancing in
Today's reading is In the Depths of My Soul by Norbert Chapek. It will take me a minute. Okay. In the depths of my soul, there where lies the source of strength, where the divine and the human meet, there, quiet your mind. Quiet. Quiet. Outside, let lightning rain. Horrible darkness frighten the world. But from the depths of your own soul, from that silence will rise again God's flower. Return to yourself. Rest in yourself. Live in the depths of your soul, where the divine and the human meet. Tune your heart to the eternal. And in your depths of your own soul, your panting quiets down, where the divine and the human meet. There is your refuge.
And I am the lucky one who gets to tell his story again. This is a story many of you know and you've heard, and it's a story worth telling again. And as the 100th anniversary, it seems extra special, as it is one of the most popular annual rituals celebrated by Unitarian Universalists in this country. And I know that I have participated, I think, every year around June in this ceremony. And if you can imagine that people have done it for hundreds of years, 100 years, not hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds of days have gone by that we have been Unitarians and Universalists and celebrated this. So don't let it get old, but it's one of those stories. So Dr. Norbert Chapek was a Czechoslovakian ex-Catholic, ex-Baptist, liberal religious activist who finally found his true calling as a Unitarian minister, and he created the flower communion for members of his newly formed congregation in Prague. The story of Norbert Chapek really can never get old because it is so rich and so interesting, and it inspires us and it deepens our faith. It reminds us of who we are and why we are Unitarian Universalists. This is the story of Norbert Chapek, who was gassed in the Nazi concentration camp for being a Unitarian minister. Don't let us forget that this happens. Thus, joining the ranks of Unitarian martyrs who died rather than retreat from their vision and commitment to their faith. So, I tell the story. Norbert Chapek was born on June 3rd, 1870, in southern Bohemia. At the time, Bohemia and all of the other lands that were to become Czechoslovakia were part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which embraced the Roman Catholic Church. There was no religious freedom in this empire, and although a few other religious groups were tolerated in name, they were often persecuted. Norbert's family was Catholic, of course, and in his early years, Norbert had considered becoming a Catholic priest. At the age of 14, he was sent to live in Vienna with an uncle and an aunt, who, much to his parents' distress, were Baptists, and he became a Baptist. At the age of 18, he joined the ranks of evangelical Baptist ministers. He traveled and preached and published widely and founded a number of Baptist churches. However, as time passed, he became increasingly more liberal in his religious views. He was particularly influenced by the Moravian Brotherhood and by the idea of free Christianity, which was essentially Unitarian thought. He played an active role in an international religious organization known today as the International Association for Religious Freedom, which had been founded by Unitarians in 1900. As Chapek became more liberal, not only in matters of religion, but in politics as well, having written a number of opinionated articles on the impending World War I, he began to upset church and government authorities. And on the advice of a friend who said he was in serious danger of being arrested, he fled to the United States in 1914 After his arrival in the United States, he was actually tried twice for heresy by a Baptist church tribunal, but he was acquitted both times. Once in the United States, he became the editor of the Czech language newspaper and served as pastor of the first Slavic Baptist church in Newark, New Jersey, and was active in the movement for Czechoslovakian independence. He had been widowed for a second time shortly after arriving in the United States. He met a woman who was to become his third wife, Maya V. Oktavek, in the New York Public Library, where she was the librarian. She had also been born in Bohemia and had immigrated to the United States in 1907. She had obtained a degree from Columbia University School of Library Science. They were married June 23, 1917. In 1919, Norbert realized that because of his beliefs, he could no longer be a Baptist, and he left his faith. At the end of World War I, Czechoslovakia had become an independent country. So many Czechs had decided to leave the Roman Catholic Church, and many exciting things were happening in liberal religion. The Čapeks were both full of excitement with the vision of returning to their native land and in playing a part in their country's spiritual reawakening. In 1920, they decided to sell their home to get money for their return trip. However, things did not go quite as planned, and they ended up renting an apartment in Orange, New Jersey. There, on January 10th, 1921, they joined the first Unitarian Church of Essex County. And believe me, they're proud of that today. The minister, Dr. Walter Reed Hunt, learning of Čapek's intent to return to Czechoslovakia, arranged for him to meet the president of the American Unitarian Association, Dr. Samuel A. Elliott. By May, Čapek had a commitment from the AUA to support his work in Czechoslovakia. He and Maya left for Prague on June 30th. By February 1922, Čapek had organized the Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship in Prague. See, I did it. It's spelled, by the way, C with a thing with two dots, A-P-E-K. Čapek was a charismatic and inspiring minister, and the hunger for liberal religion was great in the country that had been so long religiously suppressed. In June of 1923, Čapek held the first flower communion, as it was originally called. It was immediately popular and was held every year thereafter. For several years, the fellowship met in rented halls. With financial help from the AUA and the British and Foreign Unitarian Association, they acquired and renovated a medieval palace, which they dubbed Unitaria. In 1930, the Unitarian Church of Czechoslovakia was officially recognized by the Czech government. In the following 20 years, with the help of their daughter and her husband, Norbert Čapek and Maya built a vigorous nationwide religious movement. Their congregation boasted 3,200 members and was the largest Unitarian congregation in the world. Over 8,000 Czechs considered themselves Unitarian. In 1939, shortly before the German occupation of Czechoslovakia, Maya Čapek left for the United States to lecture and raise funds for a joint Unitarian Friends program to assist endangered refugees and internees. Realizing the potential danger Norbert was in, the AUA offered him positions in the United States. And they also offered his daughter, who was named Bodana. And both of them declined the offers, feeling it was their duty to remain with their congregation. When the war broke out, Maya was unable to return home. In 1940, she introduced the flower communion to the United States at the Unitarian Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts. As the Nazi occupation progressed, the membership in Čapek's church continued to grow. Čapek and the activities of the church were under open surveillance by the Gestapo. For his 70th birthday, Chapek had been given a radio by his congregation, and although it was a capital crime to listen to foreign radio stations, he and his youngest daughter, Zora, listened to BBC every night to gain news of the war. He shared what he learned with his congregation through subtle parables and stories in sermons. The Gestapo raided his home, and on March 28, 1941, he and his daughter were arrested and sent to prison. His term was only to be for 1 year, but after he had been incarcerated for 11 months, it was decided that he was truly a danger to the Reich and was sent to Dachau with papers stamped unwanted. During his incarceration and internment, he continued to minister to the needs of others. He also held flower communions. After the war, survivors testified to his strength and courage in the face of torture and starvation, and they testified to the inspiration, comfort, and strength to endure that he had provided to so many people. He was gassed to death on October 12, 1942. Maya did not learn of this death until after the war was over. And that's the story, part of it. It's a good story, and anybody who wants to learn more, there's a lot out there. So he's a hero. So why did he create the flower communion? He believed in a religion founded not on dogmas, but as he put it, on the divine spark which is in each person's own soul. This belief appealed to his congregants, who were mostly spiritual refugees from many different backgrounds. They tended to dislike religious language and were wary of religious ritual. Does it sound familiar to anybody? However, Chapek felt that they needed to have some kind of spiritual ritual to celebrate and honor their diverse community and to acknowledge their willing connection to one another. He created it to symbolically bring his congregation together in a way that would not exclude anyone. So today, in honor of his original communion, we will celebrate it in much the same way as it was originally celebrated. So we have all placed a flower in the vase, and the vase has been brought forward. And when we start the communion, we will read a prayer he wrote for the communion, just slightly adapted for genders. And then we will come forward and we will choose a different flower to take with us. And then the flowers will be consecrated with the words that he also wrote for the occasion. The symbolism of the communion is understood like this. The flowers, each one representing a unique individual, placing a flower in the vase, signifying that that it is of each individual's free will that he or she has joined with the other members of this religious congregation. The vase, he or she or they, or whatever. The vase, symbolizing the body of the religious community and the principal covenant with which binds it together. And taking a flower from the vase, signifying our acceptance of one another and the idea that not only do we give, we also receive. He said of the flower communion, each of us is choosing a different flower, and that one speaks to us. The vase, too, is a symbol for us. In Unitarian Brotherhood, it was a symbol of our church organization. We need the vessel to help us share the beauties and the responsibilities of communal life. In the community, by giving the best that is in us for the common good, we grow and we are able to do what no person can do alone. Each of us needs to receive in order to grow, but for the same reason, each of us needs to give. So, before we start the communion, we'll have a song from the choir. Don's going to read the prayer, and then we'll all come up in a little line and take the flower of our choice and go back to our seats.
And pretty please, don't bump this table.
It was a miracle.
We coming? Oh, okay. Okay. In the name of that which implants the seed of the future of the tree and in the hearts of humanity for the longing of people living in neighborly love. In the name of the highest, in whom we move and who makes the mother, the father, brother, and sister what they are. In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrifice their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of barrier which estranges person from person. In this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are one family, that one spirit, the spirit of love, unites us, and our work together for a more perfect and joyful life leads us on.
Maybe you could play something for us, Lily, while we come. Just something random and beautiful. So if you would like to come forward. Come up and let's just come in line. Come on. Jonathan, you could come first. And if you want to come, that's it. Yeah. Do you see a flower that you would like? This one is, that strikes your fancy. This one? You want this one? Sure. Here you go. So I don't know, can the people on Zoom see the flowers? Did you get one done? Okay. So look, so am I seeing what people are Zoom are seeing? They're not seeing the flowers. Oh, they saw it. Did they? Okay, because I just see flowers. I have a little computer up here now. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's just take our flowers for a moment and hold them close to our hearts. And I will read the consecration of the flowers. In the spirit of life, let us bless these flowers as messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid the diversities of knowledge and gifts, to be one in desire and affection, and in devotion to justice and the search for truth. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship and of doing and sharing together. May we cherish friendship as one of our most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's differences discourage us or sully our relationship. But may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to secure the place that love, respect, hope, and justice should have in this world. And so our closing song is Love Will Guide Us. And you may stand if you would like to sing this. It's number 131, but the words will come up. Yep. That's it. Okay, so this is, now we will extinguish our chalice, but of course we do not extinguish the light of that chalice. We take it into our hearts and shine it forth until we're together again. And our closing words are another poem by Norbert Chopek that he wrote in Dresden prison just before he was transferred to Dachau. And it's a reflection on his life, and I hope that in his words you find meaning in your own. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fire, my soul you will never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in fight, and everything would worthless seem, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul, my life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters, giving wings to his mind, is entering the golden age of the victorious. Blessed be. Go in peace. Have a beautiful week.